As the government shutdown continues, air traffic controllers continue to work without pay. Eyewitness News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry spoke to a local air traffic controller who shares the danger this shutdown poses.
This week marks 10 years since Captain Selly made a radio call alerting that a bird hit his plane. He lost engine power and they were going into the Hudson River. The other person on the other side of that call, an air traffic controller. It's been weeks since air traffic controllers across the country have been paid, and now they're worried. Those swift decisions that are at times critical for the safety of thousands could be affected by their reality. They don't know the next time they're going to get a paycheck. It's a sound that will never get old to Travis Yulhorn.
That's correct.
But this is getting old.
We got our pay stubs on Friday. I got 1 cent deposited.
The air traffic controller is one of thousands doing his job over the last month for free.
We're still keeping airplanes safe. What's changed is the distraction that it's caused.
Yulhorn is not only a controller, but also the union rep for the 50 others here at San Antonio International.
San Antonio departure.
In a job where
there's no room for error in what we do.
The lack of pay is turning into a dangerous situation.
How do you work airplanes and not still have in the back of your mind, how many months can I dip into my savings?
In a letter to congressional leadership earlier this month, the Air Traffic Controllers Union president echoed those concerns, saying, quote, "No one should be under the illusion that it's business as usual for aviation safety during a shutdown."
When you have that uncertainty and you work a job like we work every day, you don't need any extra stressors in the back of your mind.
Jaleesa Irizarry, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.